life is full of seasons, and seasons are always different. Yeah. So yeah, basically it's still going. It's still life. Still experiencing. We're still learning. I feel like there's still so much to learn and so much to experience with life, and you never know what life has for you. But there's a lot to say, but to then grasp it and say, okay, this has been my life. It's not like my life is over. My life is still going. So I believe knowledge is power, right? If you learn something, no one can take it away from you.
True.
Yeah. So once you grasp the part that you have to learn something, you have to understand it. You have to develop yourself.
Yeah.
Once you develop yourself, anything can happen to you, but no one is gonna be able to take that because that's gonna be you now. Yeah. So correct. Learning is key. Learning is key. Yeah. It's always having to self-introspect and having to put yourself out there and say, okay, let me learn this. As much as I'm learning, what am I gonna do with it in the long run?
Welcome to another episode of Start to Finish, Fueling Discipline, Focus, and the Right Mindset. I'm your host, KD. So today I'm joined here by Andrew. We just want to have a conversation. We just want to talk about life's journeys. There's a thought process that I have that life is how you make it. I don't know how you take that one.
Life. People have different perspective towards life, yeah. Sometimes it's experiences more so over than how you take it, because how you take it is forged through the experiences, right? So what you go through is going to determine how you react to life.
Okay.
Yeah. So
interesting. Yeah. So that thought of just sometimes because I'm just thinking, sometimes I think we are giving too much credit to situations around us, to politics, to the economy, and it's an excuse not to act, not to do something. But I think there are so many opportunities around us. We are now living in a global village, so you realize if Zim mortar and brick products are not working, you can always go online and start something and start thinking on how you can utilize what is around you. So yeah, that's the thing about life. That's why I'm thinking it's how you make it. As you have said, the situations and circumstances around you can force you to then think, to say, how best can I make life good? So yeah, so today I'm joined with Andrew here, and we just want to go through life and just talk about his journey and where he has placed himself working on a cruise ship, and still coming back home to Zim and try and do some, develop some opportunities for himself. So Andrew, just introduce yourself. Who are you and what are you all about?
Okay. So
what makes you you?
So my name is Andrew Mnyaradzi Magwature. Basically, what I can say is I'm a man forged through experience and adventure. Life has shown me a lot. I've traveled a lot, and I've learned a lot. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So, forged by circumstances. What do you mean when you say life has forged you? Because when you are being forged, you are going through a furnace. You are going through the fire. I just remember Shadrach, Meshach, and what's his name? Abednego, going through the fire and still coming out pure, unbent. Yeah. So tell me more on that.
It's very difficult to put into a sentence or to put into perspective like this, because some of the things you have to experience it.
Okay.
You have to go through it. It's like a season. Yeah. So that's life. Life is full of seasons, and seasons are always different. Yeah. So yeah, basically it's still going. It's still life. We're still experiencing. We're still learning. I feel like there's still so much to learn and so much to experience with life, and you never know what life has for you. But there's a lot to say, but to then grasp it and say, okay, this has been my life. It's not like my life is over. My life is still going. So
Okay. I like two things that you said. One is learning, and that's the whole journey. In most cases, we just think, learning is me doing my grade 7, go to O level, maybe A level, do my university, then I'm done. But I think it's so much more than that. You have to continue to learn through life. If you want to progress, if you want to make a better life for yourself, I think you have to do a lot of learning, a lot of transformation. Because if you go into the Word of God, it said, we are transformed. You go through the process of change. So at the end of the day, learning just gives you that. It allows you to be in different places. It allows you to be in the same environment, but to think differently, because you grow with wisdom. And also the aspect of adventure. Yeah. Where you just take it one day at a time. Because if you want to take it all at once, it can consume you. So tell me about you working on a cruise ship. That's one big adventure, I'm sure. And I want to ask, is it work and play, or is just work all the way?
It's for people who work on cruise ship, I believe it's life, because yes, they have the work, then they have their life. So it's work and life at the same time, and you're far away from your family, you're far away from home. So you have to you get to have people you meet working there, then they become your family. So it's an experience. It's I feel like it's a journey, because once you start working on the cruise ships, it's very difficult for you to work on land. Okay. Because you're now used to that lifestyle. You're now used to working on the ship. You're now used to being far away, because you find out some people go for 6 months, 7 months, depending on what you're doing on the ship. So if you're going for 6 months, then you're coming home for 2 months. Then you go again for 6 months. So basically now your life is on the ship. You're spending more time on the ship than back home where you grew up or where you stay. Yeah. So I started working on the ship when I was I 26, 2016. Yeah.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, that's a long time. It's like 8 years, 9 months when I was calculating. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Very long time.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me more about the relationship that you build over time. Any strategic partners? What sort of relationship are you building when you're out there?
So the relationships that you build you meet different people, especially the people that you work with. You meet different people, then you learn different cultures. You learn other languages. You go to places, you learn about the places, and sometimes you revisit the places. Then, because you've been there before, you now have a relation. You now relate to the place. So. It's more of, how when you say connecting with places or networking. So working on the ship, you network with the different races, different cultures, different. You learn a lot of things from. I remember one time we were talking about how you kill a chicken, and everyone was describing how a chicken is killed from their own country, and it's very interesting how other people kill chickens, and the way I kill a chicken is actually scary to someone who kills it differently. So, yeah.
Okay. So how do they do it? They just twist the head, or
some were saying they just twist the neck. Then
jeez.
I was telling them I take a knife, then I have to remove the head. So it's for them that was bizarre. It's crazy because they can't picture that. And for me, I can't picture just, it's like you're sneaking in there, breaking the neck.
Yeah.
Then some were saying they don't even know how the chicken is killed. They just get it from the shop.
From the supermarket.
Yeah. So those small things, they make a difference. You see that people are different and people have different backgrounds. Then when you are then brought on the ship, to work together, it's multicultural, right? So you have your own background, I have my own background, but we still need to deliver the same product. So it has to do with a lot of teamwork.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have to learn to copy and understand each other and get the job done. Yeah.
Okay. And what are you mostly doing when you're out there?
As in
like your role?
My role is youth director. I'm in charge of people who work with kids. I'm basically the kids department.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. You've always liked the kids space and training. And
it comes from the background of consultancy. Like before I joined the ship, I was doing team buildings, trainings, a lot of consultancy work.
Okay.
Yeah, so going on the ship, it was like the same field, working with kids, working with adults, team buildings. So it was fitting in was not easy because I remember when I went, there was not a lot of Africans on the ship compared to now.
Okay.
Yeah. Now there's a lot of Africans. There's a lot of people from Kenya, because before it was just Zimbabwe and South Africa mainly. Then you'd get a random person from another African country. But now there's a lot of South Africans have always been there. There's a lot of Zimbabweans. There's a lot of Kenyans. And now you're starting to see Nigerians coming in. Yeah.
Interesting. So I think maybe on your early days on the ship, who did you meet and impacted you the most? You said, you were like the rare ones.
I don't remember their names. Like there was this guy from South Africa. His name was I'm forgetting his name.
Okay.
Because you meet a lot of people, Yeah. He was a fitness trainer. So he was from South Africa. He was a good friend. Yeah. So he helped me through a lot. Because when you're far away from home and you're young and you're trying to adapt to the lifestyle and you're trying to adapt to coping with the requirements, because one thing you need to remember, if you're working on the ship, there is no day off, right?
Okay.
You work from the first day you get on the plane from Zim, you're already working, right? Until the day you come back home.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's no day off, there's no weekend. Every day you have to deliver, right? Because I was working in the entertainment department. Entertainment is like you need to produce the entertainment. So you just have to deliver every single day.
So, and where do you find that inspiration to deliver?
You get used to it. You get used to it. It's not gonna be the same every day, but
okay.
You have to aspire to deliver. You have to find how to motivate yourself, how to deliver the output the way it's required to. Yeah.
Okay. And in terms of learning, how much have you learned? What are some of those key skills that you said, okay, fine, I think I went there raw, but I've taken away something that will just impact me throughout my life. Maybe some you're already applying, some you're applying in the future. Why I'm asking is there's this concept called skills taking that I've learned, whereby wherever you go, you're going to be learning something. Just like us doing this podcast here. I think many years ago, I was working with, I think, Thomas and Ivan. They do videography. Yeah, the Matikiti guys. I learned a lot from the skill of photography, the skill of audio. And I also went to this church where I learned how to, about audio, a lot of things. Then just last year, I decided, okay, I want to do a podcast. It was easier for me to start because I had all these skills that I picked up, in my journey through life to where I am today. So, I mean, what are some of those skills that you have picked up?
I believe
in the 8 years.
Well, experiential learning, right?
Yeah.
It's experiential. Some of those things you can't take away. Me sitting here talking to you, it's from experience there, because after being out there, you're on the spotlight. You are representing Zimbabwe. You're from Zimbabwe, right? So it takes a lot of confidence. You have to learn to conduct yourself, to embrace yourself. Like this is me. So some of the things you learn, sometimes you're doing something there and you don't know that you're learning. But once you come out of it, then you're here. Like me talking to you, it's the experience I got from there that I can sit. If it was 8 years ago and you've called me to come and do a podcast, I would be like, Shamwari, no, thank you. But it takes a lot. Like you experience a lot, even the way you socialize, the way you talk to people, you get to learn different cultures. So once you have learned different cultures, you're exposed, right? Then you interact with respect, because you understand that someone might not be thinking the same way I'm thinking. So every time the interactions, they have to come with respect. You have to know that there's an individual behind the person, right? So so I believe it's experiential learning. Like it's, you experience something, you learn. For me, mostly I've learned leadership. I've learned a lot about leadership there that I now live with in myself. So
okay, perfect. And are you not scared? You know, I mean, I know you said when you start working on a ship, you know, to get on land is like something that is foreign. But are you not scared when you're out there? Is the ship, safe? You know, because I know, there's you always see on movies where you see all these turbulences, and
it's there's a lot of technology involved, more than what people think, because there's satellites and there's, so whenever there's a bad weather, they already know it's going to be bad weather, right? So sometimes they prepare you, especially for the crew. Sometimes they experience it a lot, then they get used to it. But for the traveling guests, it's more like they alert them that there's going to be bad weather. So as much as the weather can be bad, the ship will always be a ship. It will always sail, because they navigate through the bad weather, because they have the awareness, they have the technology to predict, like, okay, as much as it's going to be rough, it's going to be this rough, and this ship has this specifics it can manage, you know. So a lot of times it's all about, they have to navigate through the bad weather. They know already, but sometimes weather can be weather, you know, and it can be really rough. So but it's,
and you can actually feel it.
Yeah, you feel it. You can see things dropping off. Like it's like you're shaking a house sometimes, or it's just moving like this. So sometimes the most common is people feel dizzy, or people throw up, but it's only for a short period of time.
Okay, interesting. I don't think I'll stay in the ship.
No, you'll be fine. It's like a hotel. It's just
like a hotel.
Because sometimes if you're in the ship, like if you're inside, you don't know that you're in the ship, because you're inside the hotel. It's only when you step outside by the balconies, that's when you see the difference. Because if you're inside, maybe you might feel like the ship being controlled with water, the turbulence, but you can't tell that you're on a ship once you're inside, because once you're inside, you're in the hotel.
And for someone maybe who's interested in working in a ship, are there still opportunities right now?
That's a very good question, because sometimes people know that you work on the ship, right? Then they ask you like, I want to go to the ship, work on the ship. Then you ask them like, what do you want to do? Then they're like, I just want to go on the ship. But like I was saying, the ship is a hotel. It's broken down into different departments. So you find out that there is bar, there is housekeeping, there is entertainment, there is culinary. Some of these departments, I don't even know how you apply for those departments. So when someone then says, I need to go on the ship, they need to know what they want to do on the ship, because it's a big vast of opportunities and a big vast of employment for people. So depending on what you want to do, like I said, there's a lot of Africans now. There's a lot of people from Africa working on the ship. So I wouldn't say it's not possible. It's very possible now, because a lot of people are now coming to work on the ship. So people can apply. So depending on what department you want to apply to, I know some departments you have to go through an agency, and some departments you can just apply directly, and some departments you have to advertise your CV on LinkedIn. Then the recruiter will get your information from there, then they will recruit you.
Okay. And so which means in terms of qualification, you need to be at least well leveled up, is it?
Yeah, you have to be qualified, and you also have to have experience in the department you're applying for, because you can't just say, I want to come and be a singer. You have to have the qualifications. You have to know how to sing. You have to know how to perform. And if you're going to be doing that, you have to have experience, the background. Yeah. So usually when they hire, they when they do the interviews, they're looking for that. They're asking you that type of information. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
And in your 8 years, have you worked on the same ship, or you're always rotating?
It's always a different ship. It's always a different ship.
Different crew.
Yeah. Sometimes you meet people, you know.
Okay.
Sometimes you meet the same people you worked with like a year ago, or sometimes you meet each other. And people who work on the ship, it's like they know each other already. So it's always a different ship. So the ships they're different.
Okay.
The ships themselves are different. So sometimes it's a different class of ship, because they also have classes. So some are huge, some are small, some are medium. Yeah. So it's always a different ship. So you can be on one ship, then you learn the layout of the ship. Then next time you're going back, you're going to a different ship that has a different layout.
Oh, okay. Yeah, interesting.
So it's not always the same. It's
not always.
If you're lucky, you get the same ship. Yeah. But it's very rare to get the same ship. Yeah.
Interesting. So I've seen most people who have left Africa and never came back. You know, they were in a ship, then all of a sudden, you know, they are in America or Europe. Why did you not make your moves?
I don't know. I can't speak for those people, because I don't know why people would
decide. Yeah,
I think that's pre-planned, you know. Some people come with different agendas, because they call it there's a term they use that, like, when someone doesn't make it to the ship, or someone is supposed to come to the ship and they decide not to come. It affects a lot of people. It affects mainly the people. So let's say you are Zimbabwean, right? You then employed by a ship, then you're supposed to come and join the ship. Then you don't join the ship. Let's say you do what you do, then you're already in the States.
Yeah.
You make it difficult for the Zimbabweans that are on the ship. So they are the ones who have to suffer the consequences of your actions. So most cases they will say Zimbabweans can get off the ship. Yeah. So people come with different motives, but once you do that, I think it's gonna be difficult for you, because you're always gonna be on the run. You know, you always immigration is gonna be looking for you. So people come with different agendas. So I wouldn't want to be on the run. If you're asking me, like, I wouldn't want to be looking on my shoulder every time. Yeah. Besides, I get to travel from back and forth. So I prefer that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Rather than, if you go, do you have a plan of coming back to see your relatives, to see your family, or you're just going to? There's a concept that we used to say when we were working for this organization called East Trust. Okay. There was the leader who was there. His name is PK. He would say, you can't live in Zimbabwe as a lizard and expect to go to America and live as a crocodile. Okay. Yeah. So if you are a lizard, you can't then expect to go in a different pond and live as a crocodile.
Okay. Yeah, it makes life very difficult unless you just do it properly, and the same way you like what you're saying, you travel and you go to your ship and do the work and come back home. I think it makes it easier and better, I guess.
Yeah. I like it that way. I prefer it that way. Yeah.
Okay. So coming back home to Zim, you know, what are some of the things that you are trying to do? Because life is, like what you said, is a journey, is an adventure. You're a young man. I'm sure you want to build wealth for even yourself and the future generation. What are you doing in that space to just build a right foundation? financially and
So
in every
that's
aspect.
when we come to the thing of like you were saying earlier when we started learning, right?
Yeah.
So this time I've taken the opportunity to learn a lot. Like I've gone around because mostly me, I'm passionate about poetry. So I'm learning a lot. I'm learning about different things that has to do with poetry, like chickens. For chickens, I already know, but I'm learning about gods. I'm learning different things. So I'm trying to grasp knowledge, as much knowledge as I can, so that I know what to focus on and what to venture in. Because I believe if as much as you can be passionate about something, right? You need to learn about what you want.
Correct.
You need to invest time. You need to invest the product in yourself, so that once you start doing it, you know what you're doing. Yeah.
You said something quite interesting, whereby you don't just start. You don't just start doing something. You just don't wake up and say, you know what, I want to do chickens, or I want to run a business. The first port of call is learning. You want to learn and understand the space that you are interested in, that you're passionate about, so that most probably if there are others who have gone before you, if they've made their mistakes, you are able to avoid, some of those mistakes in life.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because I think that's the process of the journey. Sometimes we just want to start something. I've seen someone who's doing something. Recently I was, I don't know whether the strong was chastising or just telling one of my relatives to say, you know what, why not focus on what you know? So there's the other side business, which he was told it makes a lot of money, so he's taking his calculator and say, okay, fine. So if I take this, $5,000, I put it in there. I heard that if I do this, one deal is going to bring in maybe another 2,000 on top of what I'm earning. And guess what? 4 months down the line, he has lost over $3,000 because he lacks the knowledge. He wants to get into a space that he doesn't know. Yet what he knows and what has made him that money that he has lost, is there. So, yeah.
Yeah, I believe knowledge is power, right? If you learn something, no one can take it away from you.
True.
Yeah. So once you grasp the part that you have to learn something, you have to understand it. You have to develop yourself.
Yeah.
Once you develop yourself, anything can happen to you, but no one is gonna be able to take that because that's gonna be you now. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
correct.
learning is key.
Is
key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that Zim has opportunities.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities. Besides Zimbabwe being back home, I feel like there's a lot of opportunities here because you find out, like, for you to even register a company in Zimbabwe, you can just go through the authorities and have your company registered. Then you start whatever you want to start. But for someone, imagine me trying to register a company in America. There's a lot of procedures that you have to follow. One, because you're not an American, you're a foreigner. So our economy is still growing. There's still a lot happening. So there's opportunities for young people to start something and to be made. The other thing is, a lot of people are focusing on Harare, but it's not Harare that needs to be. If you're smart, it's not Harare to focus
where
on.
there's money.
It's not Harare. Some people are making it outside Harare, and some people are bringing the product to Harare. So a lot of young people want to be in Harare, but.
And what do you think are some of those businesses which anyone can start, which are not capital intensive, but someone who decides, you know what, I have a bit of cash, or I don't have cash, but I have time. What can they start?
That's a tricky question because as much as the economy is not, as much as there are opportunities in the economy, I always feel like you need to do something you're passionate about. Something that if you have a certain capital or a certain amount of money and you want to start a business, isn't it best for you to start something you're passionate about? If you fail or if it doesn't work out, because you have that passion, you have that drive, you can always gather yourself and start again, rather than saying, waste the money. That's when you start, going to the story of your friend where they lose money. So it's always to do with passion, drive, and having the knowledge, having the experience, having the knowledge of what you want to do. Yeah, you can have capital. You can say, I want to do this, but have you invested time in learning learning the thing? Have you invested time in getting to the know-how? Yeah. So it's always having to self-introspect and having to put yourself out there and say, okay, let me learn this. As much as I'm learning, what am I going to do with it in the long run?
Yeah, true. Okay. Just to add on, I think when it comes to businesses as well, or anything that someone can start, I'm also looking at a situation. Obviously, the learning part is very important. The passion is very important. But at the same time, I think anything that is a cash business is something that someone can start, because where I've put in $1, it's going to most probably compound. It makes it easier. Unlike when you have a too much bigger vision that you want to drive, that takes a lot of time and energy and effort. Sometimes it's always good to start at a place where it just allows you to then build baby steps towards that bigger thing that you have in mind. But at the end of the day, everything start off at learning and trying to understand what it is that you want to put your head on. Yeah. And tell me about, Christianity. You as a Christian, how has that shaped you as a person? Even as you go out there, you travel the world, what keeps you grounded?
It's, like I said, it has been a journey. It's, sometimes you come to a point where you realize, like, this is I can't do this. I'm a Christian, It's also to do with the upbringing, the values that you have as a person. So I believe as a Christian, there are certain things that you just look at it as, because once you're out there, there's different people, different cultures, different beliefs, and people who also they're not Christians. They have different lifestyles. They have different ways of thinking. So you have to just try as much as you can to focus on yourself, to be who you are, or always remember your roots, and always focus on God.
Yeah. Okay. And just in closing, what are the 3 things that you have learned through your journey of life, being on a ship? 3 lessons that you want to leave our viewers with that can impact also their lives on their journey, either they want to, whatever it is that they may want to accomplish. What are those lessons?
That's a tough one, huh?
Take your time.
I've learned a lot. 3. I've learned how to interact with people.
Okay.
I've learned how to relate with people. Then I've also learned how to experience. Because most of when I say experience is, sometimes you go out there because you're traveling a lot. I've seen tourists. I've seen a lot of tourists. But sometimes you see people are coming as tourists. They're just taking pictures. They're just focused on catching a glimpse of something, right? But when are you going to experience? Yeah, so with traveling a lot, sometimes I've just learned to just live in the moment, like live in the moment, just experience, not take out my phone, not take a picture. There's this saying that says, pictures tell a story, but do pictures tell the truth?
Well, it depends on how you're looking at it.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly,
know.
right?
Yeah, it's yeah.
So I've learned to experience, like to experience the moment, to experience the journey. So with traveling, I would say that's the one thing I've learned, to experience the cultures, to experience the environments, just to experience the surroundings, just to experience the place you are. Yeah.
Okay.
So I would say that's the biggest thing, that because what I've experienced, you can't take it away from me.
Yeah,
I can explain it to you, but you can't take it. It's me who has experienced it, right?
Okay, interesting. Yeah, so there you go, from Andrew. Yeah, so life is about experiences. You know, it's an interesting thing. You know, because I think most times we are always thinking of the next move, but sometimes you just have to live in the moment, just soak it in. Yeah, that's one of the most important thing. And the adventure of traveling. Hey, for me, just seeing it in photos. Sometimes when photos,
I'm not done. I'm not
You're
done.
not done. Yeah.
There's certain places I want to go.
You want to go?
I haven't been to Asia yet. I want to go to Asia.
Okay.
I really want to go to Japan.
To Japan?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to.
What's in Japan? A lot of people like Japan.
I don't know what's in Japan. I just want to go for I also want to go to North Africa. I want to go to Ghana.
Okay. Yeah, so life can be experienced. We can experience life. Even where we are, you are not well traveled, but the most important thing is about experiencing your backyard. I've been places in Zimbabwe where, like last year, I've been to Gokwe. There's a place called Nembuzia, deep in rural Zimbabwe there. And I've been to Mnyaradzi, and you're like, okay, there are places.
Is beautiful.
Yeah, it is. So you see, you're like, oh, there are places like this out here. So I think there's always somewhere where you can go and experience life. So it's important just to have those moments. Even when I visit my parents in the country, just the experience of just walking through the mountain areas and just. You just want to experience and soak it up.
Yeah, that's the experience I was talking about. Yeah.
All right. So from us at start to finish, I hope you enjoy this episode and you learn and take away something, that will impact your life. But it's most important to experience life. It's most important to learn, because those are some of the key takeaways that Andrew was sharing with us today, that you must learn, you must experience life, and invest in what you know. You can't invest in something that you don't know. Understand it first. And once you understand it, then, you do your pros and cons in your head to say, okay, fine, can I put my resource in this business? And life takes on from there. So thank you for watching.